So in the past 2 months or so, I've made multiple videos on the Detroit Pistons, whether it's about the entire young core or specifically Sadiq Bey, who I think is going to take a next jump next season. And side note, y'all showed those videos hella love. Like, I genuinely love having y'all here. Y'all are a great fan base. But in those 2 videos, I didn't get to completely talk about the main guy, the one that's the power to this engine and probably the #1 for this team, Cade Cunningham, in really any complete depth. Because going to next season, I don't really like talking about second year guys, because of course I expect you to take a jump after your rookie season. Your first year in the NBA just ended. But Cade Cunningham, from what I've seen in his rookie year, not only has some special playmaking ability and scoring ability, he also has that cerebral way of playing the game of basketball. He just knows how to make the right play. And I think genuinely he's a multiple time all-star and potential superstar and one of the next great point forwards the game has ever seen. So today we're going to talk about Cade Cunningham specifically and dive into his game and why I think he's going to be one of the best players going into next year. So going to the 2021 draft, it was almost pretty much a lock of who was going #1, and that was Cade Cunningham, who went to the Detroit Pistons. And after the first couple weeks into the season, it may have looked a little bit shaky on that pick specifically, but as the season went on, Cade truly proved that the Pistons made the exact right choice. Because even without winning Rookie of the Year, Cade Cunningham's definitely proved that, in my opinion, he was the best player to come out of that draft. Because after injuring his ankle in Summer League and missing majority of that, the entire preseason and 4 games going to the regular season, overall, Cade Cunningham didn't really have the same luxury as his rookie peers to play against NBA level competition a good amount of times before touching a NBA regular season game. And boy, did that show. Because in the first 5 games of his rookie campaign, Cade Cunningham averaged 12.6 points, 5.4 rebounds, 2.8 assists, 3.4 turnovers on 28% from the field and 22% from 3. He was 1 for 21 on his first 21 3-point attempts. And while he was shooting this bad, you could definitely still see some of the flashes of what people saw that made him the #1 pick. He was getting into his spots. He was able to still get open shots. He was making good moves in the pick and roll, making good decisions. People were either not hitting their shots because the Pistons had a very, very slow start to the season, or overall, he was just missing a lot of open jumpers, but the talent was definitely there. And let's be real here, for rookie guards or, ball dominant players coming into the NBA, especially for somebody that's going to have that many force-fed possessions like Cade did with the ball in his hands to really just work and learn, I wouldn't be surprised if you struggled. I think you're a god if you didn't. You'd be very, very different if you found a way not to struggle in your first ever season in the NBA as a main ball handler. But throughout as the year went on, he only got better and better. 25 20-point games, 7 games with over 10 assists or more, multiple triple-doubles. Overall, Cade was shooting the full bag while still being a positive on the defensive end, and that could be another part of his game that gets a lot better as time goes on. But even with all that being said, just his regular rookie numbers is enough to pop off at the page and show you just the amount of potential that is there. While he's a little bit turnover prone, you can expect that from a main ball handler. But averaging 17.4 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 5.6 assists, 1.2 steals on 42% shooting and 31% from 3, which definitely needs some improvement, he still just gave you our overall show of what his entire skill set is and just how well he can improve on it. And right now, seeing a guard as young as Cade, but being as poised as he is and just having the instincts already and the IQ at this level, there's only good things that can happen for him going forward. You have Coach Dwayne Casey, GM Troy Weaver comparing his IQ and level of play to guys like Larry Bird, which is some of the highest IQ basketball and some of the greatest praise you can get. And for somebody like Troy Weaver, a GM of this team that has a knack of identifying superstar talent before they even get to the NBA, with guys like Carmelo Anthony and Russell Westbrook being under his belt of guys he scouted to go to the league, it's pretty nice to know that he was the guy that called on this Cade pick. Now, while Cade was already touted as the #1 pick in the NBA draft, a lot of people still were looking to guys like Evan Mobley and Jalen Green, and the Detroit Pistons stuck to their guns and kept their pick to Cade Cunningham, and they made the best decision possible. Because not only is not Cade your #1, you're not pairing him with guards like Jaden Ivey, who looks to be an amazing tertiary player that can definitely help the Pistons with their up and down game and be better in the open court. You bring in guys at the trade deadline last season like Marvin Bagley, who simply wasn't being used in Sacramento and has a lot of untapped talent that could go a long way with a good coach, which Dwayne Casey is. You have definitely pieces like Jalen Duren, who given some time to develop in the NBA can become a Bam Adebayo type of player. You have somebody like Sadiq Bey, who I think is one of the most underrated scorers going into, next season overall. This Detroit Pistons team has a lot of things to be happy about, and Cade Cunningham at the helm of it being the playmaker for these guys is something that I think a lot of people aren't ready for going into next year. Because right now with the Detroit Pistons, I fully expect them, while I don't with the amount of parity and how deep the East is, them making the playoffs is not on my mind, but I very much think they can at least fight for a play-in spot, and if not, just be a thorn in a lot of really good team side as they learn how to play well together and, you know, gain some chemistry as a young core and a team. And the reason why I have so much faith in Cade to be the helm of some team that can definitely be a powerhouse going to the next couple years as these guys develop is simply because of the second half of the year that he had. Going into the All-Star break, Cade, while having a pretty okay rookie season, was nothing crazy. 15.8 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 5.2 assists, 1.3 steals on 39% shooting and 32% from 3. Great numbers. The efficiency definitely needs some work, but it's not anything that's going to make me fall out of my seat from how crazy he is, considering that he was also majority of the time a net negative. And while it's hard to be a net positive on teams that don't have that much talent or teams that really haven't established themselves a lot, what he did in the second half of the year just shows the amount of growth he had as a player as the year went on. Averaging 21 points per game, 5.7 rebounds, 6.5 assists, 1.1 steals on 46% shooting from the field, while his 3-point percentage did dip back to 27%, which is nothing to be happy about, and it's definitely a large part of his game that he definitely needs to work on to get better. He was also a plus 5.9 when he's playing on the floor, or the Pistons were a plus 5.9. When he sat, they were negative 10.7. That's some of the best marks in the NBA, and right now he's proving why he's one of the best players in the league already as a rookie. Just a cerebral ability of just slicing up the pick and roll, getting to his spots, having the ball handling ability to really make space and create for himself, showing some pretty nice finishing ability, and as time goes on, he just learns to use his body. He can get better from there. Still showing some touch of 3-point ability. He still took 4.6 per game, which shows that he has the confidence to take them, and they were just not dropping. So as time goes on, you can expect that to get better from him. Overall, there's just a lot to love about his game, and I would expect him to average a lot more assists with the way he was diming guys up, as he averaged about 10.7 to 11 potential assists. But again, there's not a lot of players you could pass to on this team that was hitting a lot of those either open shots he was giving them, or some of the bigs just weren't hitting their dump offs that he was dropping on them in the pick and roll. Overall, as this team gains more prospects and they start weeding out the guys that they want to keep in the rotation and they find their full core that they want to build around, I fully expect Cade to not only get better, but overall this team to be better and better and become a powerhouse in the league. For a couple years from now, you have a rookie in Jaden Ivey that I'm very, very high on. He's extremely great in the open court, and he does have some half-court touch, and him not being a main ball handler and only focusing on scoring is exactly what he needs in the NBA, since playmaking is one of the weaker parts of his game as a guard. Then you have guys like Jaren Duren, who already has some raw defensive and rebounding ability and is a lob option and has some playmaking touch, and as time goes on, he develops. God knows what he turns into. Overall, I fully expect not only this Detroit Pistons team to be one of the better ones going to next year, or one of the best young cores to watch overall. They're on my league pass to watch a lot next season, but I fully expect Cade Cunningham to make his first All-Star appearance and truly explode in his numbers, averaging at least about a good 22 to 25 points per game, and I fully expect him to go from 5 assists to the 7 range with some of the options now that he has on this team to pass to. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think Cade was the best player in this draft? I know I think Scotty won the Rookie of the Year award, and a lot of people love Evan Mobley, and while I'm very high on those guys, I think it's like very clear just how great Cade is and what he can do given the time. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. This is FLB, that's my time, and I'm out.